Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another installment in our ongoing First Thoughts series. And for today's episode, we'll be looking at an announcement I've been looking forward to for a while, and it's the Inart Harry Potter. Now, when Inart launched their company, this was one of the figure lines they announced that really piqued my curiosity and my interest. But up until recently, I don't know that we knew which version of the character we were going to get. Although starting at the beginning with Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone as it's known worldwide, makes sense. And I'm going to start by saying I think it was definitely worth the wait. Now, quickly, before looking at the figure, I do want to touch on licenses. Up until this point, I felt like with the Joker, with it, and even the Batman figures, we weren't getting anything unique from Inart. I did think the Lord of the Rings figures started to change that, and with this Harry Potter line, I'm actually really excited to see the company sort of branch out on its own, with a line that's very much something they can own and take ownership of without having to worry about other companies. So, looking at the figure, he does come in two versions, a standard and a premium, and in broad strokes, the main difference between both is that the premium includes the rooted hair with the sculpt, and also includes this pretty nice diorama base and a photo album that Harry gets in the first movie. I was hoping to post this once the pre-orders were actually up because I just don't have a feel for how much this is going to go for. I think the Aragorn might be a good indicator with the standard sculpted version coming in at about $340, while the rooted was about $100 to $200 more. So I'm guessing we're going to be looking at something similar here. Now, let's look at this in kind of a bullet point style here. And first up, we have to talk about the sculpt. When I was looking through these pictures, which also credit to Inart for improving their promo shots, but anyway, as I was looking through these, the first thing I thought was, this just looks phenomenal. I mean, they really did take Harry from that first movie and they shrunk him down to 6-scale form. The other thing that struck me, besides the appearance, is the hair. Now, I know the premium is what everybody's going to be talking about, but the sculpted doesn't look bad at all. And just looking through and flipping through the pictures quickly, I had to actually slow down to catch the differences. So I think that bodes well if you do end up picking up the standard version, because I think you'll be getting a really solid figure overall. But detail work here on the eyes, the eyebrows, just amazing. Only question I do have, there's a shot here where you can see the figure posed to pull his hair aside and reveal the lightning scar underneath. My question for the sculpted hair is, are we going to be losing that scar? I didn't see any close-ups that showcase that, so that might be another benefit to the premium, but regardless, likeness I think is 100% there. Next, we have to talk about the clothing set, and I mentioned this during my weekly recap video, that the clothing looked incredible, especially that scarf with the authentic, realistic-looking fabric, and of course, if you look at the material list that Inart is showing, they did use actual wool, so we shouldn't be surprised at how it looks and how good it looks. But beyond that, the school uniform looks amazing. It's all layered well, and maybe some people might argue it isn't the most exciting thing they've seen, but come on. I mean, the tie, the shirt, the sweater, the cloak, all just look incredible, and that cloak in particular really does stand out. In the standard form with it open, it really looks nice, revealing all that great tailoring below, but even in the winter setup fully closed with that scarf, it looks amazing, and that's what I started to get a sense of here as I was looking through these. This figure is going to have a ton of display options. So that brings us to the third point, which are the accessories, and I think Inart outdid themselves here. And first up, you have to talk about Hedwig. Hedwig looks almost real, and I had to again look carefully. I think it's just fully sculpted, but it's really incredible work here because she looks so lifelike. From the sculpt work on her feathers to the face and her eyes, it's just amazing. And of course, it does look like you can also pose her in a variety of ways. Then you get the broom, and looking at some of the pictures, it looks great too, although I think some of the pictures might be a little misleading. They're showing Harry in a flight pose. Since it doesn't look like we're getting anything that would allow for that, I don't know that that'll be possible. Although, fingers crossed, Inart has something up their sleeve for that. And then you get textbooks, you get the chocolate frogs, you get the Sorcerer's Stone, the sorting hat, you get his wand. I mean, it really is a beautiful set overall. Oh, and then you have this lantern too. I don't know if it actually lights up, but if it does, that would be great. But again, just a lot of variety, and that's with the standard by itself. Now, next point, we do have to talk about the additional pieces that come with the premium version. The biggest difference being that diorama base, which looks great since it's showing that Gryffindor common room with the spiral staircase in the back that leads up to the dorms. I really like it, and I think it gives the figure a little something extra. And I also like that you can rotate it and on the back there's actually a finished portion of the exterior castle wall with a window. Now, Inart is again showing Harry on a broom flying, but I don't see any indication that the base can facilitate that. So again, just something to keep in mind, but I really do like it a lot. And as an added bonus, you also get that photo album. So if I had anything negative to say about this premium set, I wish that they offered a version that had the sculpted hair version with this diorama base. I'm very much leaning towards the sculpted version, and I would have paid extra for a version with the base. I think it could have been like an intermediate package, not necessarily the standard and not as high end as the premium, but something in between. But again, overall, really impressed with this piece. And this is without a doubt going to be my first Inart pickup. I'm just waiting for pricing and the pre-orders to go up, but my current inclination is to go with the standard sculpted version. I like that sculpted hair, and I like everything Harry comes with. And while I do like the diorama, I'm not sure if it's going to be worth that extra cost. But again, if Inart surprises me and the cost isn't astronomically different to the standard, I could be tempted. As far as other observations, they are calling this the Hogwarts uniform version, so I wouldn't be surprised if they give us a Quidditch uniform version as well. And one thing I am happy about is that the announcement specifically says this is the start of the series, so I think Inart is going to go more in depth with this line overall. So for me, that's really exciting. I really have been waiting for Inart to get a license that I felt like I couldn't pass on, and this is without a doubt it. I don't know why, but I feel like this might also be a big seller for them, at least if the response on social media is anything to go by. And it could be one of the lines that really helps set Inart apart from some of the other players in the field, since it isn't exactly another version of a character we've got multiple times before. So great job, Inart, and now just take my money. Now, what did you think about this announcement and the potential of this line? And what figures would you like them to tackle? I do have my own wish list for this that could be its own video, but I'm curious to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching, and if you are enjoying the content, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll touch base on the next video.